Hey, this is Lionel with the Utterly Pointless channel. I just wanted to highlight a team that I've just built and fine-tuned obsessively, and it is paying off in spades. I absolutely love it. It cuts through a dungeon floor in about anywhere from 3 to 5 minutes on average. And that's it, Realm Instability 5. So anyway, here is my team. I'll just give you a real quick overview and explain how it works. There is a perk that I have in Trickster called Even the Odds. What it does is just kill one enemy out of 3 at the start of battle, or out of 6 rather. And from there, I do have my avatar Zonte here, and he has Final Excretion, which casts Corpse Explosion, which usually does a small amount of damage for each dead creature on the battlefield, including your own. But thanks to his special ability, Expanded Power, anything that has small, moderate, or large potency now has massive, so he can deal up to 11 massive strikes basically with Corpse Explosion. And that's not all. As you'll see in a second, you'll see that there is a great amount of fine-tuning and extra damage here that I have just gotten laughs out of. It's gotten so crazy strong. So we'll start out with the first occultist. I have 3, and then the last creature here has blending in, which will make the last 3 creatures the same race as the first. So that essentially makes all creatures occultists, which I need for Master of Occultists. But we'll talk about that in a minute. This first creature has Phantasm, so when creatures' spell gems are cast, they deal 30% more damage every time they've been cast in current battle. So you're going to see that they get cast quite a bit. And then we have Through the Gloom. So again, when the first enemy is killed through Even the Odds, Zonte will deal 50% more damage with Corpse Explosion, and that's a great start to the battle. And then there's adaptive tactics, and so for every creature that dies, it doesn't have to be on their side, but can also include your own team. It gives you up to a 50% bonus for ignoring defense when your creatures attack. So if they're being spell resistant, which is really highly unlikely, then you have a second way to get in and finish things off. So that works beautifully. There's Tsunami attached to the artifact, which will slow the enemy down and let you get in some more spells to help finish things off, and of course get some damage in too. The relic is Vitreous, primarily chosen because it increases stat gains, but essentially there are none in the game. This is just kind of a placeholder relic. And so we are back on to Creature 2, and this is the Raptor Occultist and a Chaos creature. Thaumaturgy only boosts this sorceress creature here 21%, but that's because of the 3 spell gems that are attached or equipped here, but we'll talk about those once we get to that one. So we have that slight boost, but you'll see how this creature winds up being of interest in battle, especially in just a moment. With Reign of Chaos, any chaos spells that are cast 2 additional times. So we do have the Sparktail that has 9 meteors, chaos spheres, and chaos channeling. So the damage winds up stacking up very well there. And the beautiful thing here with 9 meteors, with it now doing massive amounts of damage, it's been enchanted to cast twice. So that's 18 cases of damage from a single spell cast, again with 24% defense penetration. I set it up so all creatures on your side are able to use it. I was kind of thinking about a damage boost, but a lot of times your creatures do wind up dead for a few, and then they have to get resurrected, so you're kind of in a pinch until you can get them back. So this allows all others to cast 9 meteors, which again is just high damage and is cast twice. So there's 18 massive spell blasts right there coming. Internal combustion will give burning to everything if the creature's killed. Again, this is a massive amount of damage and a chance to cast twice. It's not generous, but does deal damage 53% extra with 24% defense penetration. Clayman just helps your creatures get up in health. I don't really know of that much healing that I have at the moment, so it's kind of just set as a bit of a curiosity. I do need to finish this up, as it's kind of a customization dead end. And then for the relic, we have Dusk and Dawn, and whenever this creature is attacked, it will poison the enemy and prevent healing, so that's the main purpose of that. And for the next creature, this is the most interesting one out of the group. In Zonte comes a very, very, very close second, but this one was interesting to set up because it boosts itself 40% intelligence-wise every time it casts a sorcery spell. And again, with Master of Occultists being equipped here, with it being equipped here, that means this creature will cast things twice and get a 40% intelligence boost, which will compound. So it's not like getting 80%, it's like getting 40% and then 40% plus 40% of that. So it's it's math. It's designer math. Just don't strain your brains too much for that one. But it does get a lot of extra intelligence to do damage with Steel Storm. So, and then Purple Tether. When I first ran into the creatures that had the Tether series, I kind of thought, all right, this is kind of nice, like it's one big gimpy living network of extra attacks. What's the big deal? But the way I've got it set up here, when an ally either here or here, and these two have some really big damage, this creature will also cast that spell. So with extra spell casts going on, this will cast at least 2 times for something that is cast by either Zonte or this occultist. And I do believe there's a lot more going on, especially with some of the extra abilities that we got here. So, rounding this out is Sacrimony, and so creatures cast death spells as if they have 100% more intelligence, with Zonte being casting Corpse Explosion. That is a death spell, so again, this just winds up being a big boost right off the bat. There's a 100% intelligence bonus here, and then we've got the Phantasm ability here. So essentially, that's 30% extra damage every time it's cast, and he just leads off at the starting gate with a roar. He just winds up casting like crazy. And the spell gems here, very briefly, are... the relic is Mutatius, just some extra attacks. That combines well with adaptive tactics. Kind of goes on autopilot to get attacks in while everybody's getting softened up on that side. And then there's Requiem, which I did a class swap to. So there's at least some resurrection here, and that will work well with the ability that gives you a damage bonus for every time a creature gets resurrected. So that is a very good, very essential gem to have. Steel Storm, blue damage or sorceress damage, and then reverse polarity turns buffs into debuffs. I mean, we don't really need that, but it's kind of good to have just in case there are any stubborn holders on. And then we got the legend here, we got Zonte, and so again, there's expanded power, which works well here with 9 meteors, and also here with 9 meteors and 9 meteors here. So, and of course, corpse explosion here. So, and then final excretion, which works with the initial even the odds from Trickster, and then once Trickster triggers, the bonus here from Master of Occultists will also allow him to cast an extra spell, and this is usually enough to get a creature to die, and then an extra creature to die, and cause yet more and more corpse explosions. It's just really, really a nasty, wonderful process. So there's equilibrium also, so this creature will deal additional damage with attacks and spells equal to 25% of the total damage the enemies received in the current battle. When you lead off with that gigantic corpse explosion, you get that 25% of that as a bonus, and it's just sweet. I mean, there is so little that can really withstand corpse explosion number 2. There are some creatures that do need either 9 meteors or they do need Finger of Death to just give them a nudge, but a lot of times you're just going to see like a first turn kill, or like a start a battle kill, actually. And for the artifacts, we have Corpse Explosion again. I was using Sanctuary to help protect things, but it was casting Sanctuary way too many times, and I thought, why not go fully aggressive here with this? And he'll be casting Corpse Explosion many times here, and that is a spell gem that will be getting a 30% bonus, I believe, from the first creature's trait. So it just winds up being such a nasty nasty amount of damage from Zonte here on turn 1. And if you need to even make it to turn 2, which is quite uncommon, he's waiting with a ton of firepower. I mean, all you have to do is cast a spell, and usually the corpse explosion will happen. I mean, it's not a 50% chance, it's a little bit under that, but I believe there is a reroll chance for it to happen. And so that is it. I mean, I've got intelligence up the wazoo here. I got speed, intelligence, and spell potency, a high critical chance, and again, just a beautifully aggressive setup here. Even the relic is nasty. There's 1,000 needles. So if if there's a single target spell or an attack done, not really important what happens, but this relic will attack, and that may combine well with adaptive tactics. Rank 20 allows attacking and casting 1 extra time, so you're at least getting 3 corpse explosions cast on the first turn, or start a battle rather, because there's the first time, and then the occultist bonus, and then this bonus. And then after the bearer casts a spell, this relic will cast a copy of that spell as well. So you're getting 6 corpse explosions that happen right at turn 1, or start a battle. I keep saying that, I'm sorry, but this is the best recording I've done out of 4, so I'm almost through anyway. And then these spells deal 1% more damage for each time that there's been an attack or a spell cast in the current battle. And so that is not just Zonte's bonus to incur, but the relic as well, 1,000 needles, will start racking up those 1% damage bonuses as well. And there's a 20% chance for criticals for every time that they attacked or cast a spell during the current turn. So these guys are working in tandem anyway, the Relic and Zonte. So it's just really, really sweet. And I have to go here just to see what the additional abilities are. But rank 60, the Relic and its bearer can attack and cast spells a maximum of 20 times per turn. Just gorgeous. I mean, I can't imagine anything surviving it even like 10 or 15 times, especially with the bonuses racking up so much. And then rank 70, meh, just deals with attacks. But rank 80 is what I'm angling for next. The Relic and its bearer deal 15% additional damage for each consecutive time the bearer has attacked or cast a spell during the current turn. So that is going to be mad damage with the caster at least casting 3 times. So I am looking forward to that. I might actually be grinding some gems down. It is that awesome of a reward, and I'll be honest, I mean, even with these nice levels for relics, I know I can do better, and I know I'm kind of causing myself a little bit of pain not having them upgraded like I want to. So again, for spell gems, we have Corpse Explosion. It's got defense penetration right there. It's generous and 19% chance to cast after attacking. So that means that even if he doesn't have any way to inflict a corpse explosion automatically, all he has to do is just cast it regularly, and if there are dead creatures on your side, that will only boost the amount of damage. So again, this is generous so that all your creatures can cast it, and everybody's just going to have a field day with the number of times that they can cast it. Decay, for any really fussy defensive creatures, this will break down their defenses. I love this one just as a last resort when something has barriers up or is just being kind of snitty. And then Desperate Sacrifice, if this creature has to go to resurrect everything, it will. It has a chance to cast after defending, so if battle's really going bad, then, that is your lifeline. And again, that's generous, so the team can keep itself alive that way. And so that is Zonte again. Every time Zonte will cast a Corpse Explosion, this little critter will. So that's beautiful. And then we have to his right the Sparktail Student, which is built for attack here. Bombshell, your creatures deal 75% damage when it's not their turn. So the thing is, when Corpse Explosion goes off the first time, Zonte will get a 75% bonus on anything that goes off. So that's nice. Limitless, when your creatures cast a spell, they have a 50% chance to cast it one additional time. Again, Limitless gets re-rolled, I believe, by Trickster, so you have yet another 50% chance if Limitless fails the first time. So there's just going to be cast after cast after cast of Corpse Explosion after that first even the odds goes through. And then I did spend 50,000 brimstone on this. It took a little bit of scrimping and pinching and saving up, to quote Ramona the Brave, or her mom, I can't remember, but yeah, it was worth it. And the other thing is, in order to get that 50,000 brimstone, I did wind up running the same dungeon a lot of times, so I started getting some resource bonuses. Maybe a little too much, and actually it's at a good point that I'd like to say, don't be afraid to randomly run dungeons, because you might wind up in a really inhospitable level, and the thing is that you just kind of need to balance it out. So you need to just really spread your dungeon runs so you don't have one super, super high level. I mean, if you feel you have to, go ahead. I love using Blood Grove for boss fights, but I would recommend just trying to run random dungeons instead of choosing one a little bit more than I did. I mean, maybe when you get one leveled up to 78 or 80, just also start focusing on random dungeons about half the time. And then after that, we have Starfire, which is a let's see, I forget what Starfire does. So sorry about that. It does, let's see. Yep. Oh, that's right. It's kind of crowd control too. Disables anything that's really staggering and still standing around. Deals a massive amount of damage and also afflicts either scorned or silenced. So that way, you know, even if you've got some nastiness coming from creatures that are able to take a beating, have some great defense, and haven't died, this will kind of put a cap on them too. So, and I believe that was Boots, if I'm not mistaken. So let's see. Yep, so Boots will cast once every one of his turns. I do love how you can cast some things when you cast with a staff, but Boots is kind of an underappreciated sort of piece of equipment anyway. I like what the designers did to give you the options to cast a spell when attacking, defending, casting, attacking, defending, provoking, or once every turn. So just a really elegant, fun way to get the Starfire in. So that works out nicely. As you can see, I've got a lot of intelligence set up on this one, some speed, and that works nicely with Cyclone, Tsunami rather, slowing everybody down. So when you both reduce a stat and gain it, that's always a help. Let me just double check. So yeah, the artifact here, I believe, or relic rather. Yeah, so actually this does combo with, let's see, something. Anyway, moving on, let's see. Okay. So, yep, we got Bloodseeker. This will just help increase maximum health, give it a kind of an anchor for hanging in, just in case everything else is getting wiped out like it should, being skimpily armored wizards and spellcasters that we got here. And so leeching will heal it and give it maximum health equal to 3% of the amount healed. So that, again, will kind of make it an anchor of sorts on your team. And then for spell gems, just straight damage for 9 meteors, but we also have Chaos Spheres, which will seal gems for the rest of the battle. And there's Chaos Channeling, which does give out 6 random debuffs, casting twice, and also on extra targets. So that's technically 12 debuffs, and it's generous as well. So if you really have to soften stuff up, again, it's so funny to see it not being necessary. You know, that option is there. And then for the final bit of fun here, we have the Nine-Tailed Harvester, an exotic creature with high attack and speed not so much. Nine-Tails Knowledge gives a nice 30% potency bonus. So with all these crazy buffs going on, I mean, again, those first few corpse explosions that do come out from Zonte 99% of the time, just hilarious to watch. And Subtlety, your creatures deal 50% less damage while it's their turn and 100% more damage when it's not. Again, the corpse explosion does trigger a lot when it's not Zonte's turn, so it does wind up being a nice perk here. Again, even casting with 50% less damage, it is just so much overkill. It's just an utter joy watching everything just go off like fireworks. And then blending in is necessary to get the bonus here from Master of Occultists, so everything gets that one extra cast. So kind of an all-around specialization, all-around enhancement rather for the artifact. When it does attack, it has Disc of Creation put on, and that will reset an enemy's stats if you got somebody stubborn and trying to hold on. Again, Adaptive Tactics does a beautiful job softening stuff up, but if you got something super defensive, this will just set it back to square one, especially when there's just a couple of targets. It's set to target extra creatures, so just a nice finisher, and Ass Kicker will help send those poor helpless survivors down to the bottom of the timeline so more creatures have a chance to do their worst. And again, with ethereal spell gems not being depleted, basically every creature has massive amounts of firepower available every single turn, unless they have spell charges depleted by an effect, which is very, very rare. And for spell gems, we converted 9 meteors over into a death spell, so there's the bonus for casting it as death magic. And it's also got defense penetration, corpse explosion. It's what I call a selfish gem. It's not generous, but it does cast twice. Damage is increased by 53% with 24% defense penetration. So that is also a nice finisher for any hangers on. I know it's repetitive, but I mean, the theme of this is just overwhelming damage, and it does beautifully. I was finally able to get some synergy on this, and I just want to show you guys more runs as I get going. So the stun beam, it's an extra effect to go with Ass Kicker if you have to get 2 targets down, and that's generous. So if anything urgently has to prevent damage, there you go. So just have the overview here. So just a really, really beautiful, aggressive team. Again, it can probably be punctured by any creature that can really survive well. For example, a boss. But when it comes to bullying regular creatures, I mean, this thing really can't compare. I thought that Siegemaster was a fun spec to play, and it is when you got thorns and explosive armor and so on, but this just steps in, rips the cupcake out of somebody's hand, stomps on it, just picks them up and drops them down an elevator shaft filled with marshmallows. I just want to keep this PG-13 here, but I mean, I will be showing you the sample gameplay for this team in a bit. My phone is getting loaded up with videos a bit, but it's been a pleasure talking about this. I hope that this does help you build a really crazy cool team. I hope if there are any variants to this, you could just post about it in the comments. Believe me, I won't steal it, but I'm always fascinated hearing how other people go about problems. And if there's a way you'd recommend improving this, I'm maybe suspecting that defensive tactics might be a good thing to swap out. Just go ahead and post in the comments too. I mean, it's kind of a debate whether I really need to have a strong attacker in there, but you never know. Anyway, thanks for liking, sharing, or subscribing if you do, and want to wish you all a very, very happy new year, and take care. Thank you.